Robbie Crawford,
Andy Blanks.
how is the disc golf game going these days?
You know, it's going. Some days are good, some days are bad. I stepped up to like this really tough level of courses, and I'm having to deal with the fact that like in order to make massive improvement there, you got to kind of take like 2 steps back. So I could play on easier courses and probably shoot really well.
That's
so
a tough
right
place to be.
now I'm like playing on harder courses, not shooting as well,
Yeah.
hoping that
Yeah.
it's going to make
Well,
me
that's how you
better
get
in the
better.
long run. But as a competitive person, which I know you are as well, it's never a fun feeling when you
Nope.
come home from almost every event and go,
Yeah. You left a few strokes out
yeah.
there.
So
You just need to go play that super easy course every now and again. And
yeah, and
crush
just
it.
like just
hole in ones.
I'm literally
holes in one. Holes in one.
aces.
Plural.
We call
I
them
learned
aces,
something.
but no,
Aces.
it's I'm gonna next week on my channel, and we're dropping a video that's can I shoot 18 under on a course?
Oh, nice.
How many redos does it take
To get
for me to
yeah.
get 18 under?
Okay.
So my
That's
goal
good.
is less than 20.
So, would you say that the outcome of that venture, of that project, is
Absolutely.
uncertain?
Absolutely. Like I think it should be
Yeah.
easy to do, but I also one time thought, oh, it should be easy to get a hole in one. And 250 throws later, I still
go.
didn't have a hole in one.
Do you know what is also uncertain, Robbie?
What else is uncertain, Andy?
The future. This is true.
Hashtag preach.
That's right. And that's right. And if we are trying to plan
true.
as youth leaders, sometimes it's tricky,
It's real tricky,
especially in the season we find ourselves in.
especially right now. This
That's
is
right.
real uncertain times.
That's right. And you know, I'm reminded as we think about this, we're talking about trying to lead our youth ministries when the future is kind of uncertain because of what we're dealing with. I mean, there are people all over the spectrum. We're here in Alabama.
Here in Alabama,
We're gathering.
yeah, people are gathering.
We got
but
face masks on.
There are still a lot of places that are closed, not open.
Yeah, that's
but I
right.
know, for instance, this weekend I was over in Georgia, and
Oh, yeah.
there are certain places I went that you would literally have no idea
Oh, yeah.
that we are in the middle of
That's
a global
right.
pandemic.
That's
still.
right. And then, there's California and New York and places like that. I mean, still
it's-
very shut down.
yeah.
So even as we talk about like how we rebound, we got to realize that people are all over the map,
very
right?
different.
That's
Absolutely.
right. But I think it's
Absolutely.
still important that we think about, because leadership doesn't stop, correct? Like you don't
Yeah.
just say, hey, it's tough times and the future is uncertain, so we're just going
So whatever, we'll just back off.
take a
Yeah.
break.
Good luck.
We can't do that. We know that. So we have to ask ourselves, how do we lead our ministries, our people, when things are uncertain? And you and I were talking about, even if you just consider the simple act of putting something on a calendar.
Yes.
Has that ever felt like more of an act of faith than it
Right.
does in 2020?
Man, because normally you're like, I'm going to be really proactive
Oh,
about
yeah.
this. I'm going to put this event on the calendar. I'm going to plan it. It's going to be
That's right.
wonderful.
Be great.
And now you're thinking to yourself, the event that was 6 months ago, that feels like tomorrow.
I mean, I know we've got friends of ours, mutual friends who I was laughing with the other day. They've now canceled the same event twice. You know, we've canceled it, rebooked it, canceled again.
Still not happening.
And so how do we do this, right? How do we think about how we lead? How can you get to a point where you can put an event on a calendar and begin to communicate that in such an uncertain future? We were kind of spitballing a little bit. We kind of really came up with 3 different, I guess, maybe characteristics or traits, right, or attitudes maybe of how we lead in this.
Oh, yeah, three things to focus on
That was much better than me.
in your
couldn't find that word.
while you're trying to lead.
That's right.
In
That's
an
right.
uncertain future.
One of them is a little tricky. It's
Yeah.
kind of what we're alluding to, but we still have to lead with confidence, right?
true.
We do. I mean, we have to be bold. We have to put something on the calendar, right? Whether that's a small group, a Wednesday night deal, or an event, right? A retreat. We have to put it on the calendar, and we can't be wishy-washy about it. We can't be like, hey, we're going to try to we're going to shoot for this, and maybe even if we're thinking that, we really have to be like, hey, guys, this is what we're going to do. We understand the environment we live in. It can be, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to put this on the calendar, and we're going to commit to it. We have to have that confidence.
And because it's not convincing or inviting to say, hey, we're going to put this out there and we think it's going to happen, but we don't really know. To me, that doesn't sound like an event that you necessarily want to happen.
right.
But also, I don't want to guarantee that I'm going to make it worth my time either,
that's
right?
right. That's right.
And
we already compete so much.
So with all these other ideas and competitions and things. And the other aspect of confidence, and when we were talking through this before we started shooting, was that we can be confident because we know who holds the future.
That's right.
If you believe this event should be happening, put it on the calendar, because
That's right.
if it's not going to happen on the date that you put it on, God knows when it's going to happen. So we can lead confidently with
That's
that.
right.
I really struggle with that. A lot of stutter.
So, it's okay. It's
My
okay.
bad, guys. My bad.
So, the other aspect of this, I think, that's important is even as we're confident, right? Even as we're bold and we're leaning forward, it could happen. It could happen that we don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, right? In the first part of 2021. What if this thing gets really bad again, right? What if vaccines delayed or whatever, and leadership in your church or your convention is like, we're going to shut down all, nobody's taking any spring break mission trips this year. We have to cancel. We may have to. We know 2020 was the year of cancellations.
Yeah. And
it could come back up.
It may come back with us to 2021. I mean, it's a very real possibility.
We hope not.
But that's the second thing we do is we can be empathetic.
That's right.
When we're leading through this, because you're confident, you put it on that calendar, but some people are going to still feel unsafe going to that event. I know for me, for my wife and I personally, we are still attending church virtually. And why? It's not that we disagree with what our church is doing. It's not that we think that everyone who's going is just dumb. But for us, it's not something that we really feel 100% safe with yet. And
most churches, I think, have done a really good job of accommodating that, right, with keeping the live stream going. Yeah. And we need to continue that. We're not out of it, right? Just because 2021 is about to turn or 2020 is about to turn the calendar, we still got to live in this world. The other thing I think when it comes to being empathetic and how we lead is to kind of be okay with frustration, like. If we have to cancel, or just that things are different, right? I mean, maybe your small group is still not exactly the same as it was, or your gathering space. People are going to be frustrated, and that's okay. Yeah. And it doesn't mean it's personal, right? Just because I'm the guy that has to send an email that says, "Hey guys, and we've talked about as a team, we got to cancel," and people are like, "Dadgummit," that's a good Southern word, or like other words maybe, right? Hopefully not too bad. We got to be okay with people feeling that and realize it's not personal for us.
No, not
right?
at all.
But it's a natural feeling. These are frustrating times.
You're not a bad leader because you had to cancel something.
That's right.
Right? You're a bad leader when you had to cancel something, and then when people were frustrated, that you were like, "Well, you're the worst, so get out." That's not good leadership.
When somebody's like, hey, that stinks. Get over it.
Yeah.
Right. Suck it up.
It's fine. Yeah.
We got to be empathetic about what our people are dealing with.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think the last thing, and this is something that you and I know both feel very strongly about, is as leaders, we've got to be confident, right? We've got to be understanding, but more importantly, we got to be transparent about just the variables going on behind the scenes. Yeah. And there's a way we can be transparent and still be confident.
Absolutely.
Those two things aren't opposite.
Yeah, transparency doesn't mean that you're walking up to leaders going, "Yeah, we're going to put this event on the calendar." And if I'm being real, there's like a 90% chance it's actually going to happen.
That is actually not.
But that 10%, I'm really confident in. Yeah. No, that's not transparency. No. That's too much information, right? But transparency in that, hey, we're going to put this on the calendar, and I fully believe it's going to happen, and it's going to be there. But if it doesn't happen, it's going to be okay, guys.
Or these are the things we're watching, right? Like these are the two variables. Yep, that's right.
I know that's one thing that I respect in leadership, and it's that, leadership isn't in vulnerability. Yeah. And if you're not transparent, you can very quickly pass off this vibe of, well, as your leader, I don't struggle with anything. That's so why are you guys struggling right now? And it creates a terrible culture of it's hard to be empathetic with someone or receive empathy from someone who doesn't show any flaws. That's a great point.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's just, listen, these are tough days, right? We get it. And it seems like, just as soon as we come out of this season, we were reminded that no, we're still in this season. We're not back to we're not back to the new normal yet.
Exactly.
And so as you lead, just be reminded of these principles, right? To lead with confidence, to be empathetic for what your people are dealing with, to be transparent about the stuff that's happened behind the scenes. That when you do have to make a tough decision, you've kind of laid the groundwork for that. You're just giving them an expectation, right?
Exactly.
Anything we can do to help you. We love serving you. We love serving youth workers. This is so much. We have fun doing this.
Absolutely.
Right? And we just want you to know that any questions you have, any thoughts, any kind of feedback, please let us hear from you. We're always available via phone call, live chat, email. Come hang out in the office. Wear your mask.
Sanitize, get your fever, or get your temp checked, and then we're glad to be hanging out.
And then after those steps,
we are more than we're just being transparent here. That's what we are doing to be with you guys.
That's right. To confidently say, we're here for you. Hey, hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon.